I'm gonna back up and
Okay.
maybe give me a wave or a thumbs down if you can't hear me from back there.
Okay.
And then we'll get started. Is there anything in particular that you would like to stretch today?
Um, Not really. No.
Okay. All right, then we will just do a basic, stretchy, yummy, low-key yoga session.
Awesome.
All right. All right, so come to whatever shape feels good for your body to breathe in a little bit. And maybe let your eyelids flutter down. Take a few breaths to notice what's happening in your body. Notice the thoughts running through your mind. Notice what your muscles are bringing to this practice. Notice if they are asking for gentle care today. Bring awareness to any injuries that you may be bringing into your practice and maybe find some space to honor those. And then begin to slow your breath. Maybe count to 3 as you inhale, and then count to 3 as you exhale. And stay with that breath cycle, maybe for 2 inhales and 2 exhales, and then see if you can expand your inhale to a count of 4. And then expand your exhale to a count of 4. And again, just notice what that intentional breath cycle and practice feels like in your body. And if it's not right for your body today, you can always let it go and come into whatever cycle of breath does feel really good and nourishing for you today. And then you stay with your breath. I'm going to offer an intention for the class. Usually I use poetry, but we've been watching the Ken Burns documentary series about the Roosevelts, and I'm on an Eleanor Roosevelt kick. So she said, "We do not have to become heroes overnight. Just a step at a time, meeting each thing that comes up, seeing it as not as dreadful as it appears, discovering that we have the strength to stare it down." I kind of liked that quote for today because I feel like people are wondering about the end of the stay-at-home order and kind of what life might look like in this shifting phase. And I think a lot of people are having to do some self-reflection and figure out what being brave means for them in these very unique circumstances. So if that's a good quote for you today, maybe marinate on it as we practice. And if it doesn't fit where you are today, maybe just settle into yourself and find a mantra to repeat during the quiet moments of our practice, a powerful, positive word that does feel right. And then whatever this stillness and breath practice were like for you, on an exhale, let that go. And just accept that some mornings it's easy to breathe and be full of peace, and some mornings it's a struggle. Collectively, we'll inhale through our nose and then exhale, sighing out our breath audibly. A deep inhale. Sigh out your breath. Okay. Root in through your sit bones again, and maybe lift your chest a little bit, drop your shoulders back and down, and then gently flutter your eyelids open, but keep your gaze pretty soft. Maybe let the tops of your hands rest on your thighs and just accept a little bit of universal energy for a breath or two. And if you're not a big believer in universal energy, just play along and humor me. And then turn the tops of your palms up. Let your palms press into your thighs. Really press down a little bit. Feel a little pressure into the tops of your thighs. Good. And then begin to shift your torso in circles. And do this in a way that feels really good to your body. Maybe you keep pressing in through your palms. Maybe you come back to having heavy lids. Maybe you, as you exhale, lower your chest down, release the weight of your head down towards the floor of your practice space, and just explore what it feels like to release. We are aiming for balance of mind and body in this practice. If you've only circled in one direction, come back to that neutral, tall spine and begin to shift in the other direction. Good. And again, just noticing without judgment how this initial movement feels to your body. Come back up to center again. Drop shoulders back and down. Root in through sit bones. Spine stillness. And then gently lower your head down towards your left shoulder. And then once you lower your head down, maybe shift so your gaze is up towards the ceiling. And then lower back down towards your shoulders. Lift up to center and come over onto the right shoulder, and just again gently explore that movement. And then come back to center and try and dial into what might feel good to your neck. Maybe some half circles, maybe some full circles. Just really gently explore what might feel good to those muscles. Good. And then bring your palms to your shoulders, and we're gonna just do some gentle movements here. Maybe you explore bringing elbows to touch in front. Maybe open up through the chest and then press your elbows back towards the rear of your practice space. Maybe you inhale and exhale with this shifting. Maybe it would feel better to you to keep those palms on your shoulders, but then find shoulder circles. Good. And again, if you move in one direction, make sure you come back and move in the other. Good. Come back to that neutral spine. And as tightly as you can, squeeze in all of your facial muscles. So furrow your brow. Maybe squeeze your eyes tightly shut, purse your mouth. And then release all of that tension from your face and just notice what it feels like to be at ease. Good. When you're ready, recline down onto your mat, coming into a supine position. And then once you get there, take a full body stretch. Point and flex your feet. Maybe lift your hands up towards the ceiling and let them lower down onto the ground. Head. Notice the backs of your calves releasing onto your mat, the backs of your thighs, the backs of your hips being at ease. The backs of your shoulders coming to rest, the back of your head being fully supported. And then bend your right leg at the knee and let your hands maybe come to the back of your thigh or maybe the front of your shin and begin to gently work the top of your thigh in towards your rib cage. Maybe once you make the connection, you find some gentle micro movements, shifting left and right. Maybe coming back to your breath here, deep inhale, and then as you exhale, draw that top of your thigh in, into your rib cage. Body parts are confusing. Good. When you've gotten what you need from the shape, straighten that right leg and maybe make a connection behind your right thigh. Maybe interlace your fingers, lift right leg up towards the ceiling, and just imagine leaving a footprint on the ceiling. Maybe you can flex your toes here. If this is really intense, you can always drop your hands. You don't have to hold on to your leg. You could also maybe use something like a strap to give you a little more of a grip here. Good. Again, just breathe into the stretch. This shape looks different on everybody, so you don't have to keep that knee super straight. You can bend it a little bit. You can play with where your leg position is so that you feel stretch but not pain. And when you are ready to move on, bend that right knee again, reach for the outside blade of your right foot and find half happy baby. Yep. So knee drops down and towards the floor. Right hand rests on the right outside blade of the foot. And again, maybe play here a little bit. Move your leg to the degree that feels right for your body today. Good. And check on that left hip. Is it still able to release down and onto your mat? Does the back of your left calf and your left thigh still connect to your mat? And then bend that left leg at the knee. Let the sole of the foot connect down into the mat. Bring right leg over and across, right ankle coming to rest on the low part of left thigh. Take a breath. Keep breathing. I'm going to have somebody come join the class. Hey guys, welcome to class. We're just reclined and stretching. We're in a figure 4 and we're coming into reclined pigeon. So if you want to breathe for a minute, get yourself settled and then join in. We are happy to have you. Okay. If you're coming into this shape, you may want to use a soup can or a block underneath the sole of your left foot. You may want to gently self-assist with your right hand and really press that right knee forward. If this is not enough for you this morning, if you want more out of this shape, you can bring both of your hands to the back of your left thigh. Or maybe even interlace fingers and bring them to the front of
Hi,
your...
Miss Jocelyn.
Hi, baby. Are you doing yoga with us this morning?
No, I'm watching Sing and having a chocolate chip scone.
Girl, you are living your best life. That is
And
amazing.
I said hi.
I'll tell her. Deep breath. Exhale. And then release. As you release, wrap both of your arms around both of your legs, curl into a tight ball, and just massage your lower back a bit. And then release all the way back out into that supine position. Again, noting for just a moment the release you find on your mat. Backs of the calves relax. Backs of your thighs release. Backs of the hips release. And maybe steady inhale, intentional exhale. And then when you're ready for movement, bend that left leg at the knee, bring the top of your thigh in towards your rib cage. Maybe again, interlace fingers at the top of the shin. Find those micro movements. And maybe again, sink back to your breath. Inhale, and then as you exhale, bring that top of your thigh a little closer in towards your rib cage. For you guys that just joined us, I'm going to repeat our intention for our class today as we find these shapes. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "We do not have to become heroes overnight. Just a step at a time, meeting each thing that comes up, seeing it as not as dreadful as it appears, discovering that we have the strength to stare it down." And then straighten that left leg. Imagine you're making a footprint on your ceiling. Really flex your foot and send those toes back towards your face. Maybe here you bring hands to the back of your thighs. Maybe that's too intense and you just let that leg stay lifted on its own. And just find the expression of this shape that works for your body. Maybe just a breath. And then we're going to shift into a half happy baby on this left side. So bend deeply through the left knee and let that knee stretch down towards the floor of your practice space. Stretch left hand out and make a connection on the left side blade of your foot. And maybe just noticing that this shape on the left side might feel different than the way it felt on the right side, and letting that be just a chance to embrace your humanity. Notice the wondrous workings of the body without passing judgment on it. Deep breath. And then bend the right knee. Let the right sole of the foot connect to the mat and bring left leg over and across so that left ankle rests on the low part of that right thigh. Coming again into this reclined figure four, reclined pigeon option. And again, just see what's happening with your body in this shape. Maybe just this pose is where you stay and breathe today. Maybe you bring that left hand to the low part of your left thigh for a self-assist. Maybe you bring a block or a soup can underneath your foot. Maybe you reach hands in between your legs for the back of your right thigh or for your right shin. And again, just find maybe small movements here that make this shape feel good to your body today. Release. Come back into that tight ball, knee to nose. Rock left and right, massage the lower back. Release, but keep both of your knees bent and let the soles of your feet connect to your mat. And then let your knees fall away from each other, bringing your legs into a diamond shape here for reclined Baddha Konasana. You want to briefly come back to your breath, bring a hand to your chest and a hand to your belly, and just take 2 or 3 slow cycles of breath. If this shape is too intense for you to really enjoy, go ahead and add a prop. Maybe add bolsters underneath your knees or blocks underneath your knees. You can also play with where the heels are in relation to your seat. If you bring them closer to your seat, it'll change the way the shape feels in your body. If you send them farther away, it'll change. Just dial into how we could modify this shape to make it feel really good this morning. Final breath here. Bring these back to center and just windshield wiper your legs now. So both legs lower down to the left, lift up through center and lower down to the right. Good. And the next time both of your knees are lowered down to the right, go ahead and extend left arm out to the side and let gaze shift towards left shoulder for a reclined spinal twist. Maybe let your right hand come to the outside of your left thigh for that gentle self-assist. And if you get in this shape, and if this is not enough for you, you can also bring left leg over and across right for an eagle variation. It's a slightly deeper version of this pose. And then release, unwind, just gently shift through center and find this shape on the other side. Both knees lowering down to the left, right arm extending out to the side, gaze shifting over right shoulder. If that feels good to your body, if it doesn't, you can always keep your gaze up towards the ceiling. And maybe left hand coming to the outside of right thigh for that gentle self-assist. Maybe adding in that eagle leg variation on this side if that feels good to you. Release through center, come back to that knee to nose shape, and then we're gonna rock up, forward, and over into a tabletop, okay? So maybe just gently rock until you come up, and then just press forward onto palms into that neutral table. Since we're not at Burn and don't have that delicious squishy floor, if you want a blanket or something under your knees for support, you can grab it, maybe even just a folded up towel. Press your palms underneath your shoulders. Engage your core here. Breathe into this neutral table. And then come back to your breath and find some cats and cows. So inhale, let your gaze lift up to the ceiling, let your belly drop down towards the mat. Exhale, press the breath out of your body, and as you do that, release the weight of your head and round through shoulders and spine. Maybe this is a good place for you to close your eyes and come back to our intention for our practice today. Come back to that internal strength that you have been able to draw on to survive and thrive during whatever challenges you have had to face recently. And then once you've taken as many cats and cows as your body needs, come back to our neutral table and find a gentle wrist stretch. So take your right hand and turn it over so that the top of your hand is pressing into the mat. Good. Maybe just move a little bit here. I sometimes do this stretch with both hands at the same time. You're welcome to try that. But if it feels like too much weight, just go ahead and flip left palm back down. Good. And then turn right palm back into your mat. Turn left hand over, and again, just shift and notice what the stretch feels like in your body. Turn left palm back over into the mat. And in your neutral table, play with some organic movement. So maybe take really big hip circles. Maybe look over your right shoulder towards your right hip and release through your left side body, coming into a C shape. Good. Good. So just kind of make this pose your own and take out of it what you need. Maybe your shoulders are tight and you want to press left shoulder forward and then press right shoulder forward. And then we're going to shift into puppy pose. So walk your palms forward, melt your chest down to your mat, stay lifted on your knees and breathe. Maybe forehead comes to the mat, maybe chin. Maybe you add in your prop here for some support. One breath cycle. And then release, press back up to that neutral table. We're gonna find a tabletop twist on both sides. So if your knees are starting to feel like they need a break, you're welcome to honor your body and maybe come into child's for a breath, or again, add in that tool for support. And if you want to try this tabletop twist, you can breathe and get set up. And then inhale, right arm up to the ceiling. Exhale, right arm down to the mat, followed by right cheek, followed by right ear. And then maybe once you're in your twist, stretch left fingertips towards the top right corner of your mat. And just enjoy this twist. Take a deep breath here. And then shift left palm back closer to your face. Press in through left palm. Unwind right fingertips up towards the ceiling and then lower down into your neutral table. Again, maybe press back to child's just for a breath. Knees wide, toes touching, chest melting down to your mat. Inhale, back up to your neutral table. Inhale, left fingertips to the ceiling. Find that same tabletop twist on the opposite side. Right finger stretching up towards the top left corner of your mat. Maybe you want to kickstand out that right leg for a little bit of a deeper version of the pose. Deeper is never better, it's just deeper, but it's something to explore if it feels good to your body. Eventually imagine your gaze shifting to the ceiling, kind of looking underneath your shoulder. When you've taken what you need, press in through right palm, unwind. Come back to your neutral table and then tuck your toes and shift weight back towards your heels. I'm going to turn to face the camera just so you can see me, but you guys don't need to shift. Lower the weight that feels good down on towards your heels. Then we're going to come back to our shoulders for a minute. So if it's too much to lower weight down to your heels, stay lifted. Then we're gonna add in a shoulder stretch. Bring your right arm across your torso. Grab it with your left hand, maybe around the elbow. Flex through your wrist and your palm, and then let your gaze go over your right shoulder. Good. Deep inhale and exhale. And if any of this is too intense or if it hurts, that's a stop sign from your body. We want to honor that. We can breathe through intensity, but we don't want to be experiencing pain. Shift sides. Bring left arm across your torso. Let right hand grab for that arm, maybe close to the elbow. Flex left hand at the wrist, and then let gaze shift across left shoulder. Good. Just breathe. If at any point your toes really get uncomfortable, just let that go. And then release. Drop palms back down to your neutral table and tap out the tops of your feet. Those toe stretches can be kind of intense. When you're ready here, we're gonna tuck toes and shift up into down dog. This is a really big pose, and if it's not right for you today, don't ever feel like you have to take it. You could maybe come back to your table. If you come to down dog and if it doesn't feel good to your body, maybe put those blocks underneath your palms, maybe play with a more wide-legged version of the pose. And then take a few breaths here. Inhaling, lift up your heels. Exhaling, lower them down towards the mat. Good. Stay with your breath cycle. Stay with the integrity of your inhale and exhale. Maybe one more. Lift both your heels up. Exhale, lower them down. If you're still in that wide-legged dog, step your feet a little closer together. Release the weight of the head and then walk your feet a little closer to your hands, coming into a forward fold. And then inhale, halfway lift. Let palms rest on your shin, the low part of your thigh. Maybe gently let fingers rest on your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Shake your head yes and no here. Grab opposite elbows and come into ragdoll. Shift left and right. Good. Release back to that forward fold, just letting go here. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen through the spine. Exhale, forward fold into a modified sciatic stretch. So bend deeply through your left knee. Press left palm into the mat, and then peel right arm up, fingers stretching towards the ceiling. You can add a bind here if you want, letting your right hand wrap around to left hip, make a connection, and then use that stretch to open your chest a little bit to the ceiling. Good. Release if you found the bind. Come back to that forward fold. We'll just switch sides. So press into right palm. Bend deeply through right knee and find that modified sciatic stretch on the other side. Maybe again, you take the bind. Maybe you just really focus on stretching those fingertips up towards the ceiling and breathing. Lower left palm back down. Let go of the head. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then for this inhale, use your breath to come all the way up to standing. I like to swing my arms out to the side and then stretch them up towards the ceiling before letting them come back to heart center. Good. Deep inhale and exhale here, and notice what it feels like to root into mountain pose. Notice the four corners of your feet. Notice the steadiness of your body and your mind. Good. Use your inhale to bring your fingertips back up towards the ceiling, maybe a gentle standing back bend here. And then exhale back to that forward fold. Let the head go. Walk your feet a little wider apart and use your peace sign fingers to grab onto your big toes. We're going to flow a little bit here with breath. So use your exhale to pull your chest down towards your thighs. Send elbows out to the side, bend, and release the weight of the head. Inhale, come to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. One more time, bend through the elbows and really pull the chest down and towards the thighs. Good. Release, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Let your palms release to the mat and step your feet to the rear of your mat. Come into plank, maybe modified plank. And then we're going to bend our arms at the elbow, draw those elbows into our ribs, and lower with control all the way down to our mat, coming onto our bellies. Take a breath. Shift into a Sphinx pose. Let your forearms rest on your mat. Let palms press into your mat. Find this gentle back bend. If your lower back needs more space, just widen your feet, maybe mat's distance apart. And take a little movement in this shape. Play with releasing your head down towards your right shoulder. Lower head through center, just letting it dangle towards your mat. And then shift over to the left side. Good. Play with what feels good here, then stay with your breath. When you're ready to release, bring those palms closer to underneath your shoulder and lower onto your left cheek for another breath. And then keeping your elbows close into your ribs, press in through your palms. We're going to lift up into a cobra shape. And everybody's cobra is different. Your arms should not lock out. They should not go straight. It's really using the muscles of your back to lift up. So on an inhale, come up. On an exhale, lower down. Maybe take 3 or 4 of these, depending on your breath and your body, how things are feeling. You can also play with lifting your palms completely off your mat and finding this shape without that counter pressure through the palm. Good. Release down to the mat and then shift back again into child's pose. Knees wide, toes touching. If child's pose doesn't feel like rest to you, again, maybe a block would help underneath your seat. Maybe a block connecting your forehead to your mat. Press in through your fingers in this shape. Lift your palms and forearms and elbows off the mat and just notice how that activates your shoulders. Release your palms back to the mat. Let right hand cover left. Stretch towards the top left corner of your mat. Stretch through your right side body. Take a deep breath here. Feel your rib cage expand. Come back to center. And just change sides. Left hand covering right, stretching towards the top right corner of your mat. Good. Staying with your breath, coming back through center. And then pressing back to table just as a transition. Tuck your toes, hips lift up towards the ceiling, down dog. And maybe stay here and breathe. If you want to do a little balance work and challenge yourself, lift up your left palm, stretch it back for right ankle. And then release. Come to center. Lift up your right palm, stretch it back for left ankle. Good. And then walk feet up to the top of your mat again, finding that forward fold, and maybe just noticing how this fold might feel different from that first fold that we found. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, and we're going to bring palms underneath soles of the feet for a wrist stretch, Padangusthasana. If that doesn't work for your body today, go ahead and release the tops of your hands down onto a block, maybe down onto whatever improvised prop you're using. If you are able to get that hand underneath your foot, let your toes massage your wrists here. Maybe even shift your weight forward and back and just notice what this feels like in your body. Good. And then release. Come back to that forward fold and prepare to use your breath to come all the way up to that mountain pose again. So inhale, deeply ride your breath. Maybe arms expand out to the side, fingertips stretch up towards the ceiling. Gentle standing back bend, and then release your breath. Hands come to heart center. Good. Inhale and exhale. Step your feet mat's distance apart. We're going to lower into Malasana or garland pose. So this is another pose where you can use maybe the wall as your prop or lower down onto a block if your seat doesn't easily connect and your heels don't flatten onto your mat. Good. So here we are either going to breathe or we're going to play with a little bit of movement and side body stretching. I like to really press my elbows against the inside of my thighs and then just shift gently left and right. It also feels really good to me to add in the side body stretch here, so I'm going to do that. You can do it with me or you can just stay through center and breathe. So I'm going to lower left palm and then inhale, right arm up to the ceiling. Good. And then I'm going to bend right arm at the elbow, wrap it around left hip, add in a bind there. If you're really feeling fancy this morning, you can make a connection around left knee. And then release. Come through center. Take a breath. Maybe you want to play with that side body work on your other side. Good. Just try and honor your body. Give it what it wants. Come through center. Press both palms into your mat. Heel to feet closer together. Hips lift back up towards the ceiling. Forward fold. Again, palm your mat and step back to that plank or that gentle modified plank. Bend both arms at the elbow, tuck elbows in towards ribs, lower down to the mat. Good. We're going to do Ekabhuka Swastikasana, which is a shoulder stretch. So shift your body closer to the right side of your mat. Send your left arm out towards the side. Bend your right leg at the knee, press in through right palm, and roll back onto left hip. Good. Breathe into this stretch. Try to keep your head lifted. And again, if you feel pain, it may be better to release and to come out. If it's just an intense shoulder stretch and you can breathe through it, do that. One more inhale and exhale. Release, roll back onto your belly, maybe coming onto left cheek just for a breath. When you're ready, shift your body over to the left side of your mat. Extend right arm again out to the side, palm pressing into the floor of your practice space. Bend left knee, press in through left palm, roll over onto right hip. Good. One more breath. Back to center. And then shift back again to whatever version of child's feels really good to you today. Maybe you want to keep your knees close together and let your arms rest along your side body. Maybe that wide-legged child felt really good to you. Maybe you want to bend your arms at the elbow and bring hands to prayer at the base of your skull. Adding in a tricep stretch, but just kind of make the shape your own. Good. When you're ready to release, tuck your toes, come back to that down dog position. It usually takes me about 3 for the shape to feel really good to my body, so maybe by this point, this is feeling wonderful. We're gonna lift that right leg and just gently shift it up to the top of your mat, coming into sleeping swan or more of a hatha pigeon, whatever feels good to your body today. You wanna have that right shin parallel to the top of your mat, and then you wanna be able to have your hips connecting onto something. So adjust yourself so that your lower half feels really good and supported. Left leg maybe bent at the knee, maybe straight. And then when you feel good about your lower body, begin to bring that upper body closer to your mat. And again, listen to what your body wants out of this shape. You may want to bring your blocks underneath your forearms or bring your forehead to rest on your block. And again, for a lot of people, these hip stretches can be really intense. They bring up emotions. They bring up feelings. They bring up messages from the body. So just try and breathe into that. If this belly down version of the posture is too intense, you can always roll over onto your back and come back to that reclined pigeon that we found earlier. Just connect to your breath. Take 5 cycles of breath here. Good. All right, and then press up through your palms. Bring that left leg to wrap around your right. Come into half Lord of the Fishes pose. Good. And then bring that right arm out, maybe wrap right elbow around left knee and twist. Beautiful. Good. Inhale and exhale. Okay, we're gonna unwind and find our down dog at the rear of the mat. So you can watch me do it and then kind of bring your body into the shape. Is that good? Right.
Wrong way.
All right, begin, breathe into your down dog. This will be the last one of our class, so just honor your body for what it has accomplished. And then we're gonna find that sleeping swan or pigeon on the other side. So three-legged dog, lift up, step left foot to the top of the mat. And again, parallel to the top of the mat. Check out what's happening with your hips. Check out what's happening with that leg that's stretching towards the back of your mat. Maybe even just noticing differences in your sides in this shape and really accommodating your body here. So maybe you did more of a hatha pigeon on the first side, and maybe on this side, you really want that more restorative sleeping swan shape. And again, check in with your hips. Do you need a rolled up towel? Do you need a prop? Get yourself set up and then gently release your chest down to the degree that works for you here. Trying to find something that does allow you some ease. So again, maybe bringing in that prop underneath your forehead, experimenting, maybe making a pillow for your forehead out of your hands, and come back to your breath. Steady inhales, intentional exhales. I have a friend who comes to my classes who always cries in pigeon, and then she always says, "I can't believe I cried again." And I'm like, everybody cries in pigeon. It's the way it works. It's the magic of yoga. Final inhale and exhale. Press up, press your palms into your mat. Come into that half Lord of the Fishes on this side. So right leg swings around, plants on the outside. Maybe hook around, left elbow, connecting with right knee, twist. Release and come to center, and just for a breath, we will sit in double fire log. So it's kind of like easy seat, except you are bringing shin over shin, knee over knee. And again, you may want to bring a prop to help connect knee to foot. Just take a deep breath here. Maybe gentle pressure through right palm, close to the low part of right thigh, just noticing what that feels like. And then just switch sides. So bring right leg underneath left, right ankle connecting to the floor, left foot resting on top, breathe. And you may notice, again, a real big difference, left to right, what the shape looks like. Good. All right, then release and windshield wiper left and right to the degree that your body needs before coming back to that supine position and releasing the work of this practice and settling into Shavasana. If you have your overhead light on in your room, you may want to turn it off. If you have a cozy pillow close or a blanket, you may want to cover your body with that. And here, really let go of all effort. Let go of the work that we put into the asana, the stretching and strengthening of our muscles. Let go of the work of the mindfulness that we dedicate ourselves to. Let go of the work of the attention that we pay to our breath, and just rest. I'm going to come to seated and repeat our intention one more time, but you stay in your rest. We do not have to become heroes overnight. Just a step at a time. Meeting each thing that comes up. Seeing it as not as dreadful as it appears. Discovering that we have the strength to stare it down. I'm gonna still close with an Om. If you're happy and reclined, you can stay reclined. If you want to join me in an Om, you can do that. Hi guys. So if you want to shift up to seated, gently do that, maybe moving fingers and toes, rolling onto your side. Then come back to that easy seat, and again, just notice sit bones releasing into the mat. Notice shoulders releasing back and down. Take stock of what this practice was like for you physically and mentally, and then bring hands to heart center, press your thumbs into your breastbone. I'll inhale, and the exhale will be the Om. So inhale. Thank you so much for trusting me to lead your practice this morning. It was my honor to share this time with you. I hope the rest of your Sunday is filled with light and ease. You guys have any questions?
Nope. That was really good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad, you guys. I hope you enjoy this amazing weather that we are having. I kept having sunbeams hit me like every time I moved.
You too.
I was like, oh!
Yeah. Coming through my blinds too.
It's so nice.
It is nice.
Oh, very good. All right. Enjoy your recovery. You're not running today, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Very good. Can you guys see each other? Lauren, can you see Rochelle?
Just when she talks.
Okay. Well, there you go. I don't know if you guys know each other, so it's always funny on the group because I don't ever know if people have met like at other burn stuffs, and I feel like I should introduce you guys, but I don't know. So.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Your kids were so quiet. How did you pull that off?
Oh, they're watching a movie and I was on mute.
So like I have learned a few things. I have learned a few things. Here. Hi, Rochelle. Good to see you. Hi, honey.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good Sunday. Hi,
I'm Sutton. Here's my Sutton. Night night.
Who's there? Hey.
I want to see both girls.
Let's see if they feel it coming.
I wish we could have a play date with them.
Your ear is dry.
Hi, Sutton.
Hello.
That felt so good.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Hello.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Laura Sutton.
Hi.
So I can't wear my glasses when I'm teaching, so I waited a few minutes, but I can't see the alerts, I guess, from back there. I'm sorry. So I'm sorry you had to wait a minute.
Oh, that's okay. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna miss it.
For some reason, I thought people could get in without me doing that once the class started, but I guess I just need to make sure oh, you know what? I'm going to stop the recording because I do not need
Okay.
everyone